Welcome everyone. This is Mr. 13 Things giving you one of the 13 patterns that exist if you make it in the world. And so I'm going to go ahead and let you know that I'm using a program called Smooth Draw and Cam Studio / Camtasia, just like Sal Khan does at the Khan Academy, but I've kept my screen white. And I'm going to start here by bringing in I'm going to bring in a circle, because it's hard to draw one on the other device I'm using, which is a bamboo tablet. All these touch devices are coming. They're already on your phones, and they're on computers as well. So I'm going to import a layer image here from before, and you'll see lots of different things out here. I'm going to import the base circle, and then you can then hopefully see where the 13 things come from. The original concept of 13 things is, I don't know, keys in a full octave on a keyboard. If you go from C to C is 13 things. You see that in the circle of fifths. There's a lot of things that are 13 things, but in this case we've divided up our circle into 13 things per half, with each of these slices being 15 degrees, having started and learned the cosine and sine, or the x and the y location of each of these points on the unit circle. That said, our 13 things that we're going to talk about here are in fact not the primary derived units, and we'll see if we can scribble here and it works, and it does. And we're going to do those 13 not by labeling the slices, but dividing the edges to the slices. And so we're going to start here with a concept of specific gravity, and why we're starting that. It is unitless. We're going to go to the top right away and talk about a very important unit, derived unit, which is force. And we're going to go over here and talk about essentially a concept of unit weight, or weight density. It's three extremely important concepts when you're doing any kind of civil engineering, architectural engineering. You're going to see there's lots of others as well, but the concept of forces and resistance to forces and unit weights or densities. And you're going to see that these things are going to form the basis of getting some middle values in our 13 things. We're now going to progress up across and around the circle with increasing dimensions or levels of complexity. So the first thing after specific gravity, and this is a tough one for many, is basically measuring of angles. And angles are not measured in degrees. When you're really trying to build a true base of being able to apply incredible relationships in physics to engineering, arts, music, and all those other things. So you see that this is unitless and this is unitless. The next thing we measure is distance, which has units of distance, feet or meters, depending on whether you're in the SI system or in the imperial system. The next thing we have is area, square feet or square meters. The next thing we have is volume. We've now gone through 3 dimensions. The next thing is mass. And you can imagine that area is square feet or square meters, volume is cubic feet or cubic meters, and mass is either slugs or kilograms, both of which are kind of odd. Force is in pounds or newtons, depending on the system you're in. We now move on to work or energy, the same thing, joules or foot-pounds. We then move on to power, which is work over time. From there we go to this concept, which is tough for some to put in this spot, pressure, which is force over area or work over volume. Pressure having units of pascals or pounds per square foot, power having units of watts or foot-pounds per second, and work having units, of course, of joules or foot-pounds. We go from there to the concept of torque, which has units of pound-feet or foot-pounds or newton-meters. And finally, the concept of density, mass density, kilograms per cubic meter or slugs per cubic foot. Hence you have the 13 things, the second time, the first time being, of course, the cosine and sine of all of your 15-degree angles. Thanks for listening. This is Mr. 13 Things.